In addition to the research I've conducted on car culture, I have also pursued in-depth ethnographic participatory research into alternative pedagogical methodology in the AC Lab at the University of Texas at Austin and in academia at large. My work began in the AC Lab, where I TA'd for Sandy Stone, its founder. The goal of the AC Lab is the creation of a safe space for students, an environment that empowers student engagement, discussion, and discovery. The AC Lab courses are open to both undergraduate and graduate students throughout the university and are often cross-listed in the Women and Gender Studies department. As I've progressed on my journey, I've taught courses on topics ranging from soundscapes to extreme freestyle hacking to trans border violations. Presently, I teach concurrently in both the AC Lab and at the University of Incarnate Word, where I've been able to build upon the alternative pedagogy I co-developed with Sandy Stone and other graduate and undergraduate students. At UIW, I've been able to develop and implement my own course curriculum for audio production. As a consequence, my peers, my students, and professors have witnessed me take the AC Lab concepts of making stuff, taking risks, and being awesome to a whole new audience, and the results have been truly amazing.
One thing about Joey's teaching is that he really does make himself available to all the students. He'll say, hey, here's my email, here's my cell phone, this is my contact information. If you need a place to study, you can come to my apartment. If you need a place to work, you can use my garage. If that doesn't work for you, we have a lot of office hours available. You can come to the AC Lab office. I mean, they really do make themselves available. And I think a lot of students are intimidated by that because who makes themselves available that much? I mean, I certainly didn't encounter that before the AC Lab. Sure, some professors do have office hours, a couple of hours a week, things like that, but to make yourself available to that extent, it's something that I hadn't seen before.
I would say that Joey's main role in the AC Lab is to act as a kind of a lightning rod for energy. He's a lot of the things that he does are kind of behind the scenes, kind of below the radar, but he's really responsible for a lot of the things that actually happen around here. People come to him with their problems at 3 o'clock in the morning. They come to him with their ideas and questions at 2 in the afternoon, and he's always there to help them out and facilitate their learning and creating.
I met Joey back in August of '09. He was at a car shop, Boost Logic, here in Austin, Texas, and we just kind of met and we talked for a little bit because they said he knew about a bunch about Fords, and we started talking. And he told me what he was doing, and he told me to check out his website, and I did, and it was really interesting stuff. And I showed some of my friends. I read all the articles, and then I bumped into him actually at a car meet the next day. And I was like, hey, I read your stuff, and he was really impressed. And then I got an email about, a week later saying, you want to see what I do, kind of shadow me. And we went down to San Antonio, and I followed him around. And it was amazing just to see just that kind of like that approach to learning applied. And I was just really impressed.
But I think Joey just does a really good job of making people feel comfortable in a space that is probably, for most of them, unlike any other space they've ever been in, where they're being asked to do things that not only have they never been asked to do them, but they didn't even think that they were capable of doing them. And he's just really talented at making them feel like they can.
What he teaches at Incarnate Word is creativity, which is kind of really hard to teach. Like I was saying, with the zoo structure of the style of his classes, his style of teaching, it motivates you to think outside the box and to really push the limits and to give more than what you thought you were capable of giving. As far as being creative, I had a few ideas that I was attempting to accomplish, but my problem wasn't the creativity, and my problem was the help, because there's only so much you can do by yourself. But in that classroom, after he would give he would give his small lectures and we'd talk, he kind of like got everyone interested in going, and he motivated a lot of people to put more effort into what they're doing, and by doing that, it helped me to recruit people to help me out with my projects, because they saw that, you know, with dedication and a little bit of time and effort, you get good products come out of it. And that's the main thing that helped me out with the class, is just the motivation of having other people, like-minded people in class with me, but with that kind of like fear that, oh, I'm not sure if I can get this done. But with Joey's, you know, help, he kind of like he helped them like break out of this like little shell, and now they're contributing and helping out with everyone else. And it's beautiful, like this like machine of like all these kids working together, you know, to like make this like one common goal, and it's done. And before that, with the structured class, any other professor, not all professors, but most professors, you just kind of get like this, you know, solo work or group teamwork where you have to like, you're told what to do, and you have guidelines. But we have this one person that tells you like, here's what you can do by yourself, or you can have a team, but you have no guidelines, and I'll give you the resources to help for you to make sure you get your project done. Like that really like inspired a lot more people to be a part of these projects we had too.
Like he's just a great role model, I guess you could say. And he just gave me hands-on experience, and we started, you know, figure we could do this thing called TNL Media, where we started doing media work for people. And like never before had I had someone just, you know, believe in as a person what one could do, and just see their see their talents for what they were, and not the credentials that they had attached to their name. You learn a whole lot more than just media. It's more of, and while it sounds cliche, it's just like lessons for life. You know, I feel like as a whole, as a person, I've grown a whole lot more from just his experiences. You know, everything from just introduction to different theories and just thought processes, and how you can you see things from a totally different perspective, and it's just made me a better person. And I feel like I've grown and matured a whole lot since I've met him and known him.
What do you think about Joey's non-use of Western European dialect and the way that he theorizes and teaches?
When I was in graduate school, I met a woman named Gloria Ansaldúa, who is now a well-known Chicana feminist writer and poet. And Gloria worked outside the traditional understanding of Western scholarship. She was theorizing something that she called mestiza consciousness, which is the sense of being in more than one world at the same time, not only socially, which in a way is the way in the Western world we tend to interpret the term mestiza, but also in the epistemic sense, the symbolic sense, the linguistic sense, in the sense of being impacted between two worlds. Gloria went on to get her doctorate and become extremely well known in a number of different fields, and to essentially be herself at the foundation of a field of mestiza studies, of Chicana studies, of cultural studies, of the ways that multiple academic agendas clash together, and the way that the epistemic mestiza can negotiate those and build new languages and new praxes on the fly out of that raw material. Now, Gloria pulled that out of her hat and she embodied it. Gloria's, on the one hand, coming at the academic enterprise, being rebuffed in a way, and coming back to be a founder of a much larger academic enterprise, was something that I had clearly in my mind when I came to UT. Lo and behold, here at the University of Texas at Austin was Joey Lopez. And Joey Lopez was saying to the traditional academics in the Department of Radio, Television, and Film, I do not deal with these issues in a traditional academic way, but I assert that my way of approaching academia is as valid as yours. It is equally valid. I want to bring together these multiple worlds And in Joey's case, the multiple worlds that he's bringing together are his multiple worlds. They're not Gloria's multiple worlds, but there is that history of embodying your discourse. There's that history of running up against the brick wall of traditional academia and then having the faith and the courage, the faith in yourself, the courage in the work to make an end run around those traditional thinkers and come out with something which is larger than their structure and which can encompass more and more deeply than the traditional academic enterprise. And that's what I've watched Joey doing. And the thing that amazes me, among other things, about what Joey does is how refractory the traditional academic enterprise is to understanding what Joey is doing.
As you have seen, my efforts to implement my alternative pedagogy in the classroom have touched many lives. It is my firm belief that enabling peers, students, and superiors to believe in each other in a truly egalitarian social setting creates a space where innovation and progress flourish.